Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking on how to modify Fiat Stilo car radio. The purpose of today's hack is basically adding an AUX into old CD-only car radio. Uh, Maybe this will give you an idea on how to modify your own car radio or how to hack a similar model, or maybe you have the exact same radio as I have and you want your AUX in there. Firstly, per warning, the solution wasn't tested. I actually did some tests, but they were running for a few hours, and that was it. It's soldering somewhere to the CD audio board, so it's possible to burn the integrated circuit. So. Uh, it may cause any some failure in your car radio. Everything is basically possible. So that's a fair warning. You are doing everything at your own risk. Okay, the general goal, as I said, is ability to connect some external devices. I don't know, maybe your phone or MP3 player. Add a switching possibility, so you can switch to your AUX input with disabling the inside source inside the radio. Uh, and what's also important is to preserve any radio functionality. So you want to still be able to play your CDs, listen to the radio, and also what's important, what I've seen in other hacks, for this one, I wanted to make sure that I will be still able to control volume, control the fader, control balance, control bass, control equalizer settings, and so on. So that was also important for me. Okay, so here's the radio in question. It's actually a Blaupunkt radio that was mounted in the Fiats, but it is a pretty old model. It is from 2004, and I'm still using it because I basically don't like how the normal radio mounted in the frame looks, and I don't want to buy a new radio with all this functionality. And because the DIN2, that's the size of the metal frame that this radio is in, DIN2 radios are really expensive. Okay, let's take a look on how to remove it. What's important is that you equip yourself either with radio remover keys or basically some copper wires, maybe, or maybe some coat hangers that they will cut. This one I found on the internet and didn't test it myself. As you can see on the pictures, I use the copper wire method. Uh, it's very simple. On the first picture on the top, the copper wire is inserted. On the left, you can see that it pushes the hinges or the latches in, and it allows the removal of the radio from the metal frame. If you are wondering why this is required, it's basically it was some time ago a security feature of the car radios that you will have to have some uh, keys, but as you can see, it's also possible to remove it without ones. Okay. After you remove your radio, you will have to remove 4 screws from the display. What I should mention, those screws are star. So you will have to have a star screwdriver. It's some kind of a Torx screwdriver. What's good news is that you will need only one type of the screwdriver uh, to remove all the screws in this video. Um, okay, so after that, there are some plastic latches, and you will be able to remove the front panel. There are 4 additional screws on the plastic part of the front panel, and then you will have to disconnect the tape from the display and buttons. After that, there are 2 screws at the back of the radio, and then you will have to remove the top cover, maybe using a spudger or something like that, and then remove 4 screws from the top of the CD player part, and then disconnect the tape from the main board to the CD player. Uh, okay, so if we take a look at the CD player board, uh, and there are 3 pins for audio out from the CD. Those are perfect to connect your AUX in, and we will be doing that. Basically, they are self-explanatory: left channel, right channel, and the ground. Uh, what's important that this audio ground is a bit different than the general ground from the radio. I recommend using this one instead of connecting to the general ground. Okay, so these are the 2 pins for the 5 volts. Uh, for our purpose, I recommend the second one because it uses a very low current. I think it's going through some kind of resistor, so it will be better for the logic. And the first one can drive for you some kind of LED, so you will be able to see if you have enabled the your AUX or something like that. Uh, it has a 100 milliampere current, something like that. Maybe something more, but I wouldn't use it to charge phone or things like that. It may burn your audio chip or maybe some components. Okay, so keep in mind this 5V1 pin, but also you should know that I didn't test this method, but we'll be discussing this later on. I tested only the, let's say, ground method, connection to the ground. There is also additional, if you take a look at the board, there's also an X reset chip, but it will cause the CD to start spinning to very high speeds. So I only tested it for a few seconds and I disconnected it because I was afraid it will break the CD player. There is also a continue chip. This cannot be used as it causes the radio to discover that it has some kind of error or something like that. So we cannot use this one. It switches back to the tuner mode. And there is also a reset chip. That's the thing I used for my modification. Uh, and we will be discussing how it works later on. Additional chip is the CD mute chip. The difference between reset and CD mute that if you want to enable reset, you have to connect it to the ground, and if you want enable CD mute, you have to send a logical 1 to it. So you will have to connect it via resistor to the 5-volt input. Okay, for the reset chip, the schematic is really simple. There is a direct connection to the ground via switch and also a connection to the jack. It is possible to use the general ground of the car, so it's possible to connect to the metal frame and use it as a ground, but I did use additional cable for this one and connected to directly to CD player. The CD mute method is a bit more complicated, and the previous method we didn't reduce the current because it simply didn't work. I tried the 500 ohm, even the 500 ohm resistor, and it simply caused it not to make any effect on the player. And in this method, I recommend, really recommend using the uh, resistor in parallel to prevent any glitches in the radio. It may the too much current may cause to burn out the chip, but you will have to send a logical one to this pin, so you have to connect it to 5 volts. I recommend this 5V1 pin, but as I said before, I didn't test it. So you have to try it out on your own and then play around with the resistor also. Maybe reduce it if it won't work, but uh, 10 kilo ohms is a general rule of thumb when using some kind of external voltage and connecting to logical input. Okay, so the difference between our reset and CD mute method is that the reset uses the connection to the ground, as I said before, and it is possible to use only 4 cables to connect your AUX input, because you will be getting ground from the metal frame of the car. So that's a bit better. And the CD mute has to send a logical one to the pin. What's also different, the reset method resets the Pioneer CD chip. So the integrated circuit you've seen on the pictures before, it basically it seems that the CD player hanged and it stops the CD from spinning, and the display hangs on the exact same second and minute and track. And if you release this pin, it will cause the CD to start searching for the tracks and start playing from the first track. The CD mute, it's a bit, let's say, better from the logic perspective, because it won't reset your pin. It will cause the CD to keep playing, and but it will only disable the sound. So that's a bit better. But this may wear out later, so keep that in mind. It is also not possible to use this method without a CD inside, whereas the reset pin, it's possible to switch on the reset pin, switch to the CD uh, source, and it will basically cause the uh, oh, it will loop the reading CD mode, and it will allow you to use AUX without the CD inside. Keep in mind that using both of those methods may cause chip to fail. So it may cause the integrated circuit to fail. But well, that's what you get for modifying the radio that basically didn't allow any of this. Okay, so on the left side you can see that I connected my audio and also my reset and ground pin. You have a very nice plated ground on the left from the screw, but the soldering iron I used was very low wattage, so it was very low power, and it was connected to my car. So well, basically, the reason I didn't connect to this huge ground is because I didn't have enough power to solder onto it, because I would have to heat it up very much. So what you should also keep in mind is that you have to, if you want to test this method, you have to do all of this in your car, because if you connect only 12 volts at your home without the CAN bus, basically after starting the radio, you will get a CAN bus error, and that's it. It's not possible to test anything at home without the CAN bus emulator. Keep in mind to add some strain relief to your cables. Uh, the uh, the plier itself is suspended on the rubber feet, So it will move around a bit when you will be driving, but additional strain relief. It's also you have to leave a bit of a wire hanging, but strain relief is really important in solutions like that. Uh, as you can see on the back, I basically exited with the cable. It's a simple UTP cable. So I have eight wires inside, but I only use five of them. Okay, so additional strain relief is also great on the back of the case, and you can use uh, the compartment over the glove box to have your AUX in. Uh, and that's because you can go direct from the inside of the metal frame to via that upper compartment hinges to the inside of it. So that's really easy. We also will be looking at how I connected the AUX in itself. On the left, you can see my UTP cable and the jack in and also a switch. I didn't use this resistor eventually that you can see on the picture and that's soldered in. For the reset pin method, you can skip it for the uh, CD mute method. I recommend using some kind of potentiometer or something like this to do some testing. It may be also a good idea to check the current flowing through it. Uh, on the left, you can also see some uh, thermally not expanding, but thermal isolation that will go over all of this and it will basically uh, allow the solder joints to well, basically it will glue in the solder joints after hitting it. Uh, so so on the right picture, you can see the effect of this. I only used a lighter for this one, and I also added a zip tie as a strain relief in case I will be removing the my audio connector, so it won't cause any strain on the solder joints on the switch and on the jack socket. Well, in general, that modification works pretty well. My reset pin method basically I works like this: that I'm switching to the audio. It starts switching to the CD. It starts playing it, and I will enable the switch and connect my AUX AUX device or phone or something like that, and I can start playing instantly as it causes the integrated circuit to hang. And I'm really happy with the uh, with uh, with what came of it. But what you have to keep in mind is to keep the your external device is connected in case you will be playing audio from the CD, as it will cause two things: to cause some interference and also will add some resistance on the uh, audio of the CD, so it will decrease the volume, and it may also cause some interference on the side of your audio player. So if it's very poor quality, it may even break it somehow. Uh, what I also wanted to show is my favorite of adding the Bluetooth receiver. I'm not sure if you checked my other video when I dismantle a very cheap Bluetooth speaker that has USB and micro SD slot, and it's also basically a thin Bluetooth receiver. Um, as you can see here, I connected at the time. I also failed to notice and connected to the continue pin, and I use uh, wrong 5-volt rail to power the uh, Bluetooth receiver. Uh, at the time, and also I used some zip ties to add some strain relief. And here you can see old serial 8 ATA cable. That's a hard drive cable. They are very good for doing some kinds of projects because you can get them real cheap, and basically no one uses them anymore. Here we can see a game port controller, game controller port used. So that's how we connected our steering wheels and our gamepads, computers in the 90s. This port was exclusively on the sound cards. So if you didn't have a sound card, you were not able to connect your uh, pad or other controller. And I use it to connect it to uh, another slot, so I wouldn't have to. So yeah, I would be able to disconnect the radio itself, but basically it was a failed idea. Uh, Here you can see the Bluetooth receiver on the right, and some buttons connected on the left. We will look at them from the other side soon. As you can see on the bottom, there is also switch enabling it all. But in general, it was connected properly. But what I didn't take into consideration that it causes some interference, even if the only you connect the ground of the whole board to the ground of the audio, and basically it distorts the sound playing from the CD. Uh, okay, so here you have the board. The connections are pretty simple. I described it on the other video, so I won't bother describing them here. And this is how it looked after assembling it all. It's not that pretty, but basically it works. It has all the slots and all the ports and also three buttons, as the jog on the board that was when I bought it. It basically failed, and I had to add some buttons instead. Uh, well, that's I think that's all for today. Uh, Please leave a comment in case you will have any issues with this modification, and I will try to update this, or at least add some information into the description if I will have any issues in the future with my modification. I hope that was it was nice to watch this, and I hope that it's helpful for you. And thanks for watching.